Awesome. This is super exciting to be able to chat. Obviously, I don't know when you're watching it. Hopefully, all the people watching it live will appreciate some Halloween humor along the way. But the scary hiring trends is never ending. So we'll jump right into this. But one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is really understanding the ugly side of dental hiring. I mean, it does not need to this is not new information about how difficult it is to hire. Let me just run through a couple of these bullet points so we're all on the same page exactly what it means. Supply versus demand. We're seeing the biggest decline in supply between retiring hygienists, assistants, people who've been in industry for a long time, retiring at the highest rate ever recorded in the dental space. And that is compounding the pain by one of the slowest rates of growth into the profession. So what this does is it turns into a lot of skills gap. You have really experienced people leaving, not as many people coming in. There's this big gap in between. High turnover, we're chasing pain. Compensation is being very difficult to match. We hear this a lot, calling in saying, I don't even know how much to pay anymore. I was paying this, but I'm not getting any candidates. What should I put my rates at? It's showing that there's a lot of competition to chase the higher dollar amount, which leads to terrible retention. It increases this pressure on culture fit. Am I there for the paycheck or am I there for the patient? Am I there for my team members, right? And obviously the patient cost. We're seeing this diminished desire to get into the dental chair when my dollars are not going as far in every other aspect of my life. That pain in my tooth or whatever, the screenings, the x-rays, the visits, maybe are not happening as frequently because of financial pressure. And then the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize right now is we're seeing a lot of candidates choosing where to go based on software implemented in the practice. If you're a practice that's using antiquated technology, someone else has been at a really high, fast-paced technology, maybe they don't want to go back in time either. These are all the ugly sides of hiring, the pressures that come with it. But let's talk through a couple of scenarios that we have seen all too well. One, the overqualified candidate. You're starting to see people that maybe is looking to get that extra dollar, get the extra big buck, and they come in and they're genuinely overqualified for a position. They come in with a lot of experience because they're getting paid well, and now you find out that they're acting like the manager. They're trying to be everyone else's manager, telling people how to do it. These are not good candidates. This is not the right fit. We do not want to chase the overqualified candidate that is not restrained and given specific boundaries. We've also seen the perfect resume candidate, right? The person that comes in, everything is dialed in. They've got the right amount of experience, they've got the right credentials, the training, and then they're terrible to communicate with. They don't show up on time. Their soft skills with patients are really lacking. We put a lot of pressure into our perfect resume, but we're really lacking some of the other qualities that make up a really good hire. And then the thing that I think gets underappreciated during the hiring process is the culture mismatch. How many times have we made that hire and the personality was just not dialed in? There was too much stress put on peers because of a skills gap, meaning they came in, maybe they had, the beautiful personality during the interview, and you're like, this is going to be a rock star, and then their skills just aren't there. Or again, maybe they're leaning on coworkers too much, and it just puts too much strain on everybody else. So a lot of these things can be avoided with the right hiring process. And I think a lot of people diminish the power of putting together a systemized hiring process, getting together and organizing how do we make the hiring system perfect along the way. So what we've done is we put together a culture marketing framework that we can help create and align with your hiring systems, processes, the way that your company needs to make sure you're avoiding a lot of these scary situations of having the wrong person. I'm going to go through a couple of these bullet points real quick, and then I'll dive deeper into each one. The biggest one of the things that we trademarked is called culture marketing. It's that ability to attract candidates that align with who you are as an organization. If you're a family-first organization, you better promote that. And you talk about it at every step of the hiring journey. Market your culture. What is it that you believe in? What is it that you care about? Understanding there's alignment. There's not just skills alignment, which is a lot of times where we anchor to, but what is our culture alignment? What is our personality alignment? What is our, work ethic alignment? A lot of these things really dial in to make the perfect hire. And then the visibility. What are we doing to broadcast our message of our hiring to the right people? How do we make sure those A players that have the perfect culture marketing, the culture, perfect alignment, how do we make sure that they're actually seeing our postings and then have the desire to come in? So let's talk through a couple of things that you might see yourself doing. When you need to hire somebody, you typically look at what are the gaps. You look at what do we have today and what do we want to get to, and there's a gap in between. There's missing roles or responsibilities or functions, and a lot of times we're putting that together as our job posting. Does this sound familiar? Here's where we are, here's where we want to be, and there's a gap of duties that are not getting done. That becomes my bullet points in my job postings. Now, do the candidates really care about that? Probably a little bit. But what we have found that candidates, and this goes into a survey that was done by Deloitte. I love Deloitte's analytics and analysis into these candidates in the labor market. But they went out and they actually surveyed what do candidates care most about. And the major assumption is this: assuming your basic financial needs are met, what are the things that you care about the most? So we're not chasing what you see on this list. Out of the top 13 responses, you're not seeing compensation. You're not seeing like, assuming my basic needs are met, I still want to have a 25% premium chasing that dollar. That's actually not what they're responding with. This is especially in the newer generation of new kind of millennials, zennials kind of entering the workforce. What they care about is a work-life balance. What does it look like when I'm off? What is the opportunities to be able to grow inside the organization? But also, what does it look like to have some level of flexibility? Now, flexibility is a little different in the healthcare space. I get that. We can't really have a hybrid position as a lot of companies might, but there's still opportunities to document or articulate what does your flexible hours look like in your office. Is it strictly an 8 to 5, or are we doing like half Wednesdays off Fridays? What are we doing to promote that and market and tell that story? I'm not going to go through all of these bullet points, but I think one of the biggest things that stands out for me ahead of compensation is strong sense of purpose. This transcends any industry, whether it be dental, whether it be manufacturing, but how do you promote the job has a sense of purpose to the candidate? So when we think about hiring, a lot of times we're telling this beautiful story about the functions of the job, right? This is what you're going to be doing, sitting down, you're going to be, executing X, Y, Z. But what candidates really want is this culture. They want this alignment. They want to know there's a sense of communal approach to my workday, that I can feel trusted and loved and supported. I feel this sense of empathy around me for hardships or celebrating wins. And so when you understand this is really what candidates care about, it really drives into this social and emotional connectivity. And so we're going to talk through these 3 major bullet points: the functional side of hiring, the social side of hiring, and the emotional side of hiring. And if you think about it from this standpoint, go to a after hours party, whether it be a family party, friends party, neighborhood party. We got Halloween, you're out in the neighborhood trick-or-treating. What's kind of the socially accepted first couple questions into any conversation of meeting someone new? Hey, what do you do? What do you do for a living? It comes up all the time. It's a core fabric of our society and who we are. Now, candidates care about this. They care about the social lens of how other people view them. Do they want to be in an organization that's socially acceptable, or do they want to be in an organization that's socially kind of frowned upon? Now, in the dental industry, there is some power to be engaged with your community, be involved with your local schools, sponsoring maybe the local football team, or building a brand, a communal brand of visibility. And that's going to help drive alignment to attract those A players that know that they're socially aligned with people that are engaged in the community and building their brand. The emotional side of it is, how do I feel at the end of the day? How do I feel? When I'm leaving, do I have a sense of appreciation? Am I feeling appreciated for the work that I did? Is there some sort of give back to make sure that I'm propped up where I can go home and I got a big smile on my face that I felt like I accomplished something really great? This is all part of the fabric of telling the right culture marketing story. When we're hiring, we're not just going to focus just only on the role responsibilities as much as we're focusing on the social and emotional side of the job posting. So the perfect way to process employment is understanding this is how you reverse engineer it. Candidates go in searching for the functional side. They use the job title. Make sure your job title is dialed in. But you want to tell the social story. You want to tell them and explain why it matters to work at your company, followed by the emotional commitment back to the organization. So one way we can do this is by leveraging our company culture. And you can do that with landing pages. You can use VIVAHR. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased here. You can do it with even a Google, these Google sites. Google has this ability to create free landing pages, websites. But take a minute to tell your culture story. Create a visual experience. I know we're focused on text alignment, but how do we tell a visual alignment? How do they see the office? How do they see, oh, I want to socially be involved there? Look at the emotional commitment because of the certificates or badges or even reviews and testimonials from the staff about how important it is to work there in their career. So let's look at some bad examples. Let's look at some scary, horrible hiring examples. Job posting, and all of these were posted through VIVAHR. So they happen even with our customers. If you're a handyman looking for a job, does this really line up? I gotta think that there's got to be more to the story. I love the compensation, $9 to $85 per hour. What a range. No surprise, they had a horrible experience and didn't get any candidates. What about a developer position? It's a remote job. Obviously, we talked about that. Candidates like that. But where are we talking about the company? Where are we telling the story about the importance of this company? Well, we're not, because the company was actually hidden in this particular post. So I see a lot of dental companies. This is kind of the one I want to land on. I know this is a Python developer position, but so many times we get asked, can we hide our company name in our job posting? And I get it. You're trying to protect maybe current staff that you're looking to replace. But why would we compromise attracting A players to protect the C players' emotions and feelings? I mean, think about that for just a second. Why would we compromise? We know candidates care about the social and emotional connectivity. We can't hide who we are. In fact, we should go the opposite way. We need to go and tell a massive story about who we are and why that matters and why you should apply to us. And then when we call you and interview, ask you to come in for an interview, you are so excited about the brand, there's no chance you're going to no-show. So I know that's also a problem we're seeing, is we're not candidates no-showing. Let's look at one more example here. A screen printer. Again, time zones or timing is quite confusing. Thursdays 8 to 5, Fridays 8 to 2. Jump right into benefits, but we're not really telling a story. We're not telling them like why it matters, why people like working there. What are some of the satisfactions of being there? So I want to share one important thing, and I think it's you got to put yourself in your candidate's shoes. A lot of people forget that job seekers are just like us looking for, a new widget or gadget that we're excited about or a Christmas present. We Google it. This is where candidates, they're on their break, they're in their car, they get on their phone and they type in specific job-related keywords for their industry. In this example, customer service jobs, you Google it, guess what the first example is? And in fact, I encourage you to do it. Go Google for dental assistant jobs. Put in dental assistant jobs near me or hygienist jobs near me. You're going to be surprised to see Google's kind of got their own job board going. If you haven't seen it, it's extremely powerful. But what you notice here is there's no ability to interact or to post a job directly on there. You have to go through a third-party publisher. It's something VIVAHR does and a lot of other ATS systems, and we publish to the Google job feed. But what you'll notice is you don't see Indeed. You don't see ZipRecruiter. You don't see some of these other dental specific job boards. Google is now aggregating and kind of trying to systematically take over the job search experience. So a lot of times you got to make sure your job is optimized to get the candidate in the door. And that puts in right through the perfect keyword combination of making it nice and full, showing engagement, showing high click-through. And one of the anatomies of building the perfect job posting is making sure that our text is really dialed in. The one paragraph job postings will not work. We got to have 250 to 300 words at a minimum on our job posting. It's going to help Google rank it for search, but also a lot of the other job boards are following suit. One thing that we see a lot of candidates, I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible. I want to be as efficient for your time as we can, but let me slow down at this point, because this might be the single most impactful part of you getting good candidates versus getting zero candidates. And it's the job title. Making sure the title aligns with what the candidate is actually looking for. So here's 3 examples on my screen. Customer success, customer service specialist versus customer service representative. All sound very similar. But did you know that each one of these, if they are typed in differently, serve up completely different results in the job boards? If a candidate goes in and types in dental front office, that might look a lot different than office manager for a dental office. You see, just a slight word variation. Taking the time to actually for you to go see what competitors are doing and be able to offset that with what you expect candidates to be looking for. I've seen a couple dental offices. I love the creativity, but posting job titles like, chief happiness officer, kind of relating to their front office desk, the person that smiles and greets patients as they come in. No one's searching that. I'm sorry, really cute, love the personality, the kind of made up job title, but no one's searching that. So putting that as your job title is going to have really frustrating results, because the job boards are not going to deliver your job ad to people looking for front desk manager or front office manager. We got to make sure that our job title is aligning to specifically what we're hiring for. And if you can connect with me afterwards, anyone on my team, and we can actually help you do a job title analysis to help you identify if you're posting the right job title for your area. So a couple of things what not to do. We want to make sure that we are not overselling the job. We're not overputting in the compensation. This is a massive problem, is we're overstating compensation just to get candidates in. And immediately we got some friction point as they go through the interview process and maybe find out compensation isn't aligned with the job posting. Maybe we're taking too long to communicate with candidates. The rule of thumb is 24 hours, and it is extremely competitive. We already talked about how competitive dental space is. If you're going to get a candidate on today, you better be contacting them tomorrow. It's the honest truth. We cannot be waiting 30 days, grabbing all of our resumes, and then going through and sifting to see if it's the right fit. It's literally a daily task. We need to be going through candidates every single day, identifying which are our top, rejecting the ones that aren't, moving them along, but also if there is the great candidate, great resume, we're immediately touching base with them and we're letting them know kind of what the next steps look like. I cannot overstate the power of constant and quick communication. The other thing is make sure we're being very clear on the EEOC responsibilities. I know a lot of you aren't subject to equal employment laws, but I will tell you that job boards are using AI to determine if your posting has anything that could potentially sound as discriminatory, and they are diminishing your visibility for the job ad. If you say anything about the city they must live in, how far away from the office you must be in, anything, obviously, it goes without saying, but race, gender, funny enough, we're looking for a couple more gals to work as a dentalist. That kind of stuff creeps in, and it's shocking. that is still happening, but guess what? They're suffering the consequences of not getting candidates into there because the job boards are kind of getting on top of this and detecting it. And then one of the biggest things is don't duplicate the job ad. If you have one job ad going and you hit duplicate, you have the exact same job posting out there, it's going to diminish visibility for both of the jobs. I know sometimes you think more is more, but in this case, less is more. Having high quality job posting is more impactful than posting the same job 3 times with 3 different job titles. So we can always help you go through that. But as I kind of round out my presentation here, this is my hierarchy of the perfect job description, is going through from top to bottom, making sure we have the right job title, understanding the business overview, telling that social story. What is it like to work here? Making sure we understand that what is the day in the life of the position, giving them that clarity, the lens of kind of expectations or KPIs or things that we're striving for as a company, all the way down to the interview process. And I think this last step is missed on a lot of job postings. You will see your applicant rate greatly improve if you're transparent. Here's our interview process. Our goal is to do all interviews by this date. We'll be doing 2 rounds of interviews. This is what the first round interview, second round interview looks like, followed by an offer. So a lot of times, this is kind of the perfect anatomy of the job posting. But now we got to get visibility. We got to know where to post it. Places like VivaHR are going to distribute your job to all these job boards organically to get you free traffic on the Google job board, on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all the big sites. But then there's also some other big job boards where you can go and post. But I want to be more specific than that. Be a sniper. Don't be afraid to get on LinkedIn, find people with matching job titles and setting up an automated DM. It's where you go out and you're messaging them and let them know, hey, I noticed you're currently a hygienist in a dental office near us. We'd love to connect if it's the right timing. If not, no big deal. At least keep us in consideration in the future. But finding ways to get creative, to go proactively communicate with candidates is a very, very powerful way. I love Facebook groups for job postings. Places like Dental Nacho are fantastic to engage, show your company culture. And you never know, there might be people kind of around you taking notice and want to come work for you. I kind of talked about this, but make sure we're nurturing our pipeline. As candidates come in, we're engaging them within 24 hours. We're also dropping a text message. People love the phones, they're engaging with it. Let's make sure that we're engaging with them as quickly as possible. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our scary hiring tips and tricks, but we would love to help you with any of your hiring needs at VivaHR. This is probably one of my absolute favorite things. I've actually, I don't know at what point you call yourself, Paul, a serial entrepreneur. I'm sure you probably are, but this is my 4th business that I've been in, and by far my favorite. And the reason I did it is because of all of the scary hiring moments I've made in the past. So we wanted to build a platform to help.
Solved a problem to fix your own pain, right? So I encourage. That was really an amazing rundown. So much value. I'm gonna become a job sniper. That's what I'm gonna do from this sniper. I mean, it's just wild how little we get trained in this and how important it is to our success, our sanity. I always say, Ryan, success in life is related to how many times you want to cry inside a day. And hiring, firing, all of those things can create that. So I so appreciate you sharing with us. Just a deepening understanding of what you do. Tell us what VivaHR does, right? Is this for dental practices? Is this for hiring hygienists? Is this for hiring front desk team members? Just give us some clarity and context on that.
Yeah, great question. So we are actually industry agnostic. We work in about 70 different verticals. Dental is one of our strongest. If you Google dental hiring software, I think we're the #1 result. Like, it's a core focus for us is helping the dental industry with their hiring. We're not a staffing company. What we're not is we're not a staffing company. We're not a recruiting company. We're not taking a fee on any placements. We are a hiring software. We help you take your job posting, perfect it, making sure the keywords, all of the relevancies in there, give you a grade on that. We take your job posting, our software natively integrates with over 50 job boards. I think we're at 93 right now. 93 job boards it goes to, and we focus on organic visibility. So we're not paying to be in the top 2 spots because your job posting is going to be so well written, it's going to be in the top 5, and candidates are still going to find it, they're going to apply to it, and then we're going to help you wow the candidate with your engagement and your communication. So we've got texting, emailing automations, notifications, So you're really creating a great experience back to the candidate to make that conversion cycle for A players a lot faster.
I think it's awesome. We talk a lot about, our website, and marketing companies talk about the relationship with your dental practice starts from the first time they click on your website, the first time they call your office. And it's the same here, right? It's the first future team member who's going to help you survive, thrive, and not cry comes from clicking on an ad that provides clarity, doesn't confuse them, wants them to move forward. And I think, it's just what you're doing. You can tell dentists this is the work of the Lord G.B. Black. He is a famous dentist. So you guys are helping us because no one teaches dental practices how to hire. And then also, just to add some, whatever the right word is, empathy, compassion for dentists, we are often hiring for people that have no training in what we're hiring them for, right? One of the more straightforward hires we make is dental hygienist, because you have to go to school to become a dental hygienist. But front desk team members, dental assistants, often come from all different spheres, which can be cool because you can hire people from other industries, but also can just be overwhelming to a dental practice.
Well, and I think one thing I didn't touch on here that I have had side conversations with a lot of people in the dental industry is the power of building the bench.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not, you're fully staffed right now, I get it. But you're doing yourself a disservice, because if that highly skilled trained dental hygienist walks off the job, retirement, injury, health, he got poached by another company. Think about the money that you are losing by not having built the bench in the past. Like, always having quality candidates ready to go and communicate with is a really powerful and practical hiring strategy that I think every dentist should be doing.
I love that. I talk about that with our dentist job company, also not just a sponsor, about these associate dentists. My front desk team member calls out sick, right? I can put the answering machine on. My dental assistant can't make it. It would be very stressful, but I can still open up the office. Your associate dentist does not come to work, moves across the country like mine. The office is now totally shut down. Yep. No one can make money. No one can be helped. So building your bench is so key. And I think that's, if you watch football on Sundays, you want your favorite team to have someone to come off the bench. The Eagles did that well with their left tackle, who's backing up right now. So it's very key. So you say you don't want your favorite sports team to have no bench. Your practice shouldn't either. Well, so thrilled you're a sponsor. We'll hang around here for a couple minutes, but everyone who's been watching in so far, appreciate you guys supporting all we do at Dental Nachos, and thank you for being an awesome sponsor.
My pleasure. Good conversation.